sell it, there's a 2% out-of-state sales tax.
Oh yeah, that's.
Well, I'm not
normal.
surprised because
That's a lot. 2%.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Oh, you should see when you're sitting there at the table and somebody has to pay it.
Yeah.
Your head does a 360
I'm like,
because
holy
the
shit.
people are so upset.
Well, it takes like all of their equity away. It's like all that time you've owned this house.
Well,
You know?
they completely negotiate with you down to 1% listing or something, right? You know, because it's so tight or whatever.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
You know, or they're an investor or whatever. And they never filed a Colorado tax return, right? Because if you think about it, it's totally legit. Somebody in California buys an investment property out here.
Right.
They never file a return. So all of the rent money goes to them in California.
Sure.
All of a sudden they're like, hey Rob, I want to sell that property. We sit down, we're like, are you a Colorado resident? No. Have you filed a Colorado return? No.
Right.
Have you, right?
You've never given nothing back. You've
Sorry,
just taken.
we got to take 2%.
Yeah.
We got to take 10 grand from you
Totally.
on $500,000
No,
home.
yeah, you're right. That is fair.
Goes straight
It's
to
like
the state.
You're playing here. You're playing capitalism here.
Never
you
paid
gotta
taxes.
Pay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's so brutal because
But it's a lot. I didn't know it was
yeah.
2%. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh.
totally brutal.
FERPTA tax, didn't he say that was 15%?
Oh yeah,
That's what you were saying. You were saying like 60 grand. I'm like, what?
well,
I've
that's
never heard that.
15%.
15%?
15, I think.
That's like
Yeah, no, it's 15%. So
that's crazy town.
so FERPTA taxes, somebody from
What's going on? Dubai.
London, right, buys a property here, and they're not a citizen, and then they don't file any taxes or anything, and all of a sudden they're selling their property, and it's like, okay, 15% plus 2%.
It's almost impossible.
Oh
It's
yeah,
almost
it's-
impossible.
Can you imagine?
You'd have
There's
to
another one.
Have paid that home off
We were just
outright.
wondering where everybody was.
And even then, you'd probably want to move back to the States for a little while to file some taxes and.
Well, it just makes it to where it's not worth investing.
Yeah,
another
no,
one.
If you're in a
Wow,
different
it's not.
country.
It's not. It's not. You want to live here. Somehow talk to a tax person about
Right,
how
if you're
to
gonna
save
buy
it.
here, you either
I hear the
buy
door
for the
opening,
long
so it
haul,
might be
The long
yeah.
haul.
People are
Yeah.
or you,
Everybody's coming in late today.
or you don't buy.
Or,
I mean,
or you figure out how to live here. And
yeah, or you figure out how to live here.
Right.
If you're investing and
Oh,
just
there we go.
come on.
There we go. All right.
Hey.
Now we're popping.
Wow.
party's
Okay.
That's right. Now we're popping.
Let the
Okay,
party.
now we can start.
Whatever. If only I were that important.
Okay,
like
does everybody know everybody here? Joe, you know
We're the
everybody?
lenders in the title company.
Yeah, where's the lenders and title company?
tell them don't show up this time. I'm just kidding.
Well, last week we talked about FERPTA and how brutal that was, 15% tax.
I just learned that.
And it was so wicked because Jason was going through a loan with he's doing the loan, and was it his?
Is that Jason who you're talking about?
The
That
buyer
story?
was his
The
friend.
buyer
Mitchell?
was his friend.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
And the buyer had a contract on a house. The house was owned by a foreigner, so that foreigner would have to pay the 15%.
Up
And
front or when they go to sell it?
when they go to, they're selling it to his buyer. His buyer.
close.
Oh, and then so the buyer's foreigner and he has to pay 15%.
No, the seller.
Oh, the
was a
seller's foreigner. Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, so
Tracking.
the seller would have to pay 15%. The first title company said, oh yeah, we can't do this, he would have to pay 15%. So the listing agent said, we'll take it and we'll just go to a different title company. So they went to a different title company, and that title company said, oh yeah, we'll do it. And they didn't say anything about FERPTA, right? So that title company might miss
They're not.
that.
They're
Okay,
not gonna
but
miss.
guess what the contract says?
Is it checked for
Whatever happens in that transaction, the person that's ultimately responsible is the buyer.
So not the seller who's
Right.
foreign.
So that foreigner was selling, so if the title company closes that deal, Jason has his buyer, IRS comes after his buyer. for the 15%,
Is that true?
which
then?
was 60 grand. We figured
That
it
doesn't
out.
sound right. That doesn't sound right.
It's
Well,
not
that's the
fair,
law.
Yeah.
but it is the law.
So he was saying,
Well,
Awful.
but you said in that contract that FERPTA wasn't checked. The seller, they didn't disclose that the seller
They
was foreign.
falsified whatever.
Right. well,
Or they
the
did.
first title company did. So the listing agent said, we'll take it to a different title company and see if we
So
can.
why is Jason representing the seller?
He's the loan officer.
Oh,
So they're loaning the money to the buyer. Now get this. Of course, the listing agent's really upset. They're just moving it to a title company, right? So that'll close it. But the buyer's agent is totally pissed off at him, who's the lender.
totally. Or he should be pissed off because it's like, why would you? No, just let the seller pay the tax.
No, hold on. Let's say you have a buyer
Yes.
and I'm the lender,
Okay.
and you have a house under contract.
And my buyer's
And
legal. My buyer's
Your buyer is getting a loan through.
like he's
Liam.
American.
Yeah, he's American, okay? And the seller, the title company comes back for that house we have under contract, says, hey, this is FERPA, this is bad, there's gonna be taxes taken out.
The seller needs to pay
Right,
taxes.
there's a red flag here, okay?
Okay.
Right. That listing agent says, guess what, we'll take it to a different title company. They go to a different title
No,
company.
I'd be like, why? No, just make your seller
Okay,
pay
right.
the tax.
So he goes to a different title company, and the title company says, yeah, no big deal, we'll get this thing closed. Now, as a buyer's agent, you're like, okay, cool, we can get this closed, right? Or are you gonna kill the deal?
No, I'm like, well, why? No, I wouldn't do that at all.
You're gonna be scared for your buyer.
Well, I would be like, no, why
Right.
are we ducking this? This is tax evasion. You're ducking it. you
Right,
know?
right.
You're-
So I'm gonna be scared for my buyer, because
Yeah.
it can fall on him.
I would just tell my buyer, look,
Or-
we're gonna go buy a different house. You know?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm the lender, and I'm saying, look, this is not good, this is not good.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do it. Now all of a sudden you get pissed at me going, no, we just need to close this.
No, I wouldn't be pissed.
For your commission. No, but
Yeah.
can you imagine, that's what
right.
the buyer,
I see what's
that's
going
what the
on,
buyer's
yeah.
agent's doing to,
To try to get it going. Yeah.
isn't that wicked?
That's crazy. Yeah, no. I'd be more pissed at the listing agent. Like, dude, why aren't you just telling your guy he needs to pay the 15% tax? Why are you evading it? Why are you trying to make it to where, if that's true, my buyer now, the buck stops with him now. That's a penalty. That's my fault. This is now I'm not doing my
So
job.
he was asking us last week, what do I do? Well,
Did anybody hear from him?
Let's call him.
'Cause Tuesday
That's
was
what I was
Come on,
texting him right now. All those calls.
Tuesday
I was like, I'm gonna
up
text
there.
him and ask.
If I was Jason, I would.
call everybody.
Well,
around
and
the
how
table.
about the
Jason just
buyer's
happened-
agent
Yeah,
who was
I'm just curious. Like,
well, what's wrong?
I'm thinking that
Keep
surely
going,
that
you
second
know,
title
let's not
company.
Yeah, that's what I'm
thinks
saying.
that
That's
the
who's-
exact
that's
same
who's in the
thing,
wrong.
you know?
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
If
And the seller.
What I would then
And the seller, yeah, and the seller knows damn
legally,
well.
I'd say, well, what's
Oh,
the
they're
title
Jason
company
trying to
put
evade
on
it.
Jason
the-
shouldn't
on
do
the
anything. He should
contract?
just write the
That's who we're
loan,
using.
and it's not
The
his
listing agent
place
can't just
to
move it to a
disclose.
different
But-
title
to say.
company.
No, he has to,
You
he's
have
gotta
the
protect the
title
lender.
company in the contract.
Yeah,
No,
because
Jason.
she-
Jason is the lender, or is he the agent?
No, he's the loan officer
Yeah, so-
selling it for a lender.
And if
He's gotta
she-
protect that lender too.
She won't be able to afford another $62,000. So once that buy goes through, that closing, and she gets hit with that, so that's why
I
he's
think we would
thinking-
need to talk to like a real estate attorney or a tax person
Wow.
on how that tax would get actually. That doesn't sound right at all.
Well, think about it though. Like, logically, right? The IRS, they're getting their money one way or another.
But I would
You're a
think that-
foreign
I don't-
citizen who could sell a house and poof, just disappear, go to another
Uh-huh.
freaking
Yeah, it's
country.
not
How are
fair.
they going to collect from that
Oh,
person?
we could definitely garnish their
So
wages
they-
in
I
another
don't
country,
think,
can't we?
No.
Oh
No,
yeah,
you
no,
could.
I'm sure we could.
No, you
I'm
if
sure.
you can find them.
I'm sure if somebody owed America money right now in Dubai, London, wherever, we would go after them for that.
They're not
somehow.
American. How do you
So
know
what?
what?
What I don't
You're
understand
gonna
is
go
when
after
we
for
write
60
our
grand?
I'm sure they could. The
I
IRS could go after, I'm sure, whoever they want.
I think
You don't think so?
No, not.
I
They
don't
have
think
no jurisdiction in
Yeah,
other
you have a
countries.
tax ID
What do you
number.
mean? We are the jurisdiction. We're.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
if
they won't do
only.
That'd be like if you tried to
we can't
take
just go
another
all around
country.
the world taking people for 60
The only thing
grand.
I'm really confused about is, I mean, we're talking about disclosure, and in our agreements, I remember there's that box that's checked if the seller or buyer is a foreign party.
That's what she's
Yeah.
talking
Right,
about.
right.
So
So-
she started it with.
So it
with
was
the-
checked or it wasn't checked? Because then
No,
I
the buyer was American citizen.
Yeah, the buyer's an
Seller
American.
is
The seller.
right,
foreign.
right. But even then, like
On the listing
when
contract.
you as a buyer, if I'm writing an offer, and I go and I know I have to check this box or something, you know, I'm going to call the listing agent. I usually do, and ask that general question if the seller is a foreign party.
I've never asked that.
Really?
I've never asked that.
Well,
Yeah.
usually you just believe what's on the contract,
Well,
right?
I trust the title company.
Well, yeah. That's, I've never. Even if I
The
had that come
first
up.
title
but-
company caught it. The
Yeah.
second didn't.
Or they might not. You know. Either way, that's not right. Yeah. It's like well,
Everybody's human. A title officer gets the file and hey, we're flipping this to you. Okay, no problem. You're running your title stuff. There's human error. That could cost your buyer a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Either way, yeah, that's crazy. That is
There's
that's
got
a
to be
huge
some type
tax.
of owner's extended coverage, something. You know what I mean? Like
To me,
Right,
that doesn't
nothing-
sound right. That if the buyer now is, he can't just assume that tax. That doesn't sound
Didn't
right.
we ask the title officer? Yeah, we asked title.
Well, that's what I
when
was
they were
saying.
here.
That's
I
like
was
a-
like,
They didn't know.
where are all the real estate agents that like lobby for like law changes and things like that? Because we should be lobbying
That,
against
yeah,
that.
I
It's
bet you
unfair.
that isn't right. I bet you that person who evaded tax is now just a criminal in some way and owes that money. You know, it's owed.
No,
it
not
doesn't just
if
get
it's a
passed
foreign
on to a
entity.
new to the American buyer. That doesn't sound fair at all. You know.
they don't have a
Yeah.
social. They don't have a social security number.
Doesn't
attached
have to
to.
be fair.
That's right. They're ghosts.
Still,
They're ghosts.
They're, but they're not though. They're not. They still have visas. They work here, or you know whatever the case is. I don't know. I don't know the whole. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
We'll have to find out from Jason what happened.
yeah.
No, but I understand what you're saying. But if you owed,
Oh, there's no way. I could
the
afford it.
Azores, if you bought a house
If I
in
was
the
buying that
Azores
house.
and you owed them
Right.
some tax money, you think they can really get you?
But that's the reality.
Who is it? Say it
Yeah.
I
again.
mean,
If
do you
you
really
bought
want
a
to roll the
property in
dice
the
and gamble?
Azores and
Or is
For
that
being
a
on the hook
different
for
country?
Yeah.
$75,000
Yeah.
tax bill? I
You're
don't.
criminal for there. If you
Well, yeah,
commit
but
a
you-
tax
I'd have
crime
to
there,
find another house.
they're gonna.
no,
You know?
if they're not going to come after you like they were after.
So check this out. If you did that in England, let's say I went and bought a house like a first world country in England, and I evaded their taxes, and their
You didn't evade taxes. The government says somebody has to pay this, and it falls directly on
I
the
think
buyer.
it should be the. Well, I don't think it should. I don't. That doesn't sound right at all. That's what I'm saying.
Because the
We need to
government
talk
doesn't
to-
care. They're attaching that to the property.
Yeah.
It's, you know.
But they're
I don't
attaching it
know.
to the
Property
property.
tax.
I don't think
Personal
so.
tax.
Yes, sir.
And they're, like I said, they're
No,
going to
not
get their
that.
money one way or the other.
How
The
they're-
easiest way to get it is just to lean
But
the
how
house.
they're doing this is
Yeah,
they're saying
right.
they're trying to evade it to where it's not getting paid.
They don't have
So
to
they're
track
like,
somebody
oh,
down in a
you-
foreign
this
country.
was flagged as you
Well,
should
no,
have
no,
paid
they're
this.
not going to withhold
Because
it.
it's gonna be
FERPA is only a tax withholding, like a temporary tax withholding. It's not the tax itself. The tax itself is the capital gains tax at the end of the year when they go to file their tax and they say, well, how much were your capital gains from selling this house? Well, if it's foreign, they want to withhold 15% to cover that amount, and whatever is left over, they return to that foreign entity or whoever it is. But
You mean if once they file a return,
when they refile
Yeah.
the
they
return,
could
they pay
potentially
their
get
taxes.
some back?
Like,
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Right, like let's say
That's
they
right.
they hold back 15%, but the taxes for their capital gains were only 10%.
Right,
They would get the other
exactly.
5% back. So they're not evading taxes. They're just saying, I'm the seller. I don't want to give that to withholdings. You know, that's what
Yeah.
they're saying.
No,
The buyer agent isn't one of ours, are they?
no,
That
No,
one. Yeah.
Neither of
Because-
the agents are.
Because so the seller would be in breach of contract for not disclosing that, right? So they can just walk.
technically.
Yeah,
Right,
that's,
yeah, the buyer
yeah,
can
they
just
should
walk.
just go
But
buy
the
it.
listing agent hasn't ever met the seller because they're in Dubai.
And everybody just wants it to go through.
Everybody just wants to
It's
go
like,
through.
yeah, but where's your moral?
That
Right,
would, that would make a good
obligation?
video.
Huh?
You know what I mean? That would make a good video.
Oh yeah, right.
To say, hey, you know,
I mean, but that's just something I took a contracts class, and that stuck with me. That you know, to understand if the seller is a foreign entity or not. You know, just in casual conversation, calling the listing agent, hey, about to write up an offer. Just wanted to ask you some questions, and that would be one of them. If the seller
Well, I
is a-
can assure you I will
Yeah.
now.
and I don't know. That's
I don't know. That's hard.
when you're asking about who's liable, right? Who's responsible? Who, Did the brokers make it a mistake, or if it's going to end up in civil, where the people are going to go into civil court and sue? You know, everyone wants to start pointing the finger when thousands of dollars are due. So I would say just
Especially if it's 60,000.
Yeah,
Oh my
right,
God,
right.
yeah, what
Oh
is
my
that?
Yeah,
I
it was
think
like
if it went to the
60-something,
courts, I
62
think
or
the
something.
buyer would win. If it went to
Oh
the
yeah,
courts.
it would.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. That's
the
what's
judge would look
fair.
at it and they'll go, "Oh yeah, that's fair." You know, the buyer.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if something like that happened and the other country now was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, this person owes these taxes," you don't think that their IRS and our IRS is communicating? You know,
No.
it's a crime.
I'm like, I don't think so.
Well, that might be the case, but here's the ramifications. What if you had a buyer and you didn't know either, and you were trying to do everything right, and then all of a sudden this popped up, and the IRS is coming after your buyer for $60,000 or whatever?
I'd be like, that's
Okay.
messed up.
Well, yeah, you'd be like, that's
Yeah.
messed up, but now your buyer's mad at you, mad at title company, mad at, if they have to go to court to fight it, you're getting reported to the commission.
Oh, sure.
Everybody's
Yeah.
getting reported,
Yeah.
right? It's just
Right.
a major headache.
You just have to walk. You just have to walk.
Yeah,
have
right,
to.
right.
Yeah.
Walk
So
away
if
from
you're
it.
if you're a seller, if you're a listing agent and your seller calls you from Dubai, make sure you check that person out. Make sure they're not tell the title.
Or I'm just
company.
like, you're paying this tax. You have to pay this tax.
Well, you don't
Guess
know.
what?
You're gonna tell the title company, this guy's out of Dubai. You know,
Yeah.
because they need to verify their identity. They need to verify all that.
And if he's
They
from-
couldn't
rules.
That's
verify.
the other thing is if the listing agent is trying to hide that from the title company, like he could lose his license. For that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. If you're trying to duck it, it's
Is that-
How
Oh, yeah,
bad
that-
do you want this deal?
but I wouldn't.
So the first title
Yeah.
company could not verify
Yeah,
the person.
yeah.
I mean, imagine, oh, it happens all the time. An agent gets a listing, and they got happy years. Oh, I got a listing, and it's somebody that called from another country. You list the property under the name. They can even send you a fake ID, whatever, right? And you list it. You get under contract, and the title company's trying to verify who that person is. They could not verify. So for them, it was FERPTA issue.
So they flagged it.
They flagged
Oh, so maybe maybe he is a citizen then, and that's why.
it. They could not verify his ID.
So maybe
They
that's.
could not verify who he was.
So then that's why they're having the other title company try to see if they can verify who he is.
Right, they
Not
just-
that he is FERPTA, but that is he.
Right.
Right. Okay, that makes
Well,
more
they
sense.
said there was a FERPTA issue.
Yeah.
It was a FERPTA issue.
Huh.
So we can't do it. And so that's when
Yeah.
they're like,
Alright,
well,
I
we'll
wanna
just
talk
move it
to
to
Jason.
the title company. I told him to call me as soon as he has a minute. Okay, how's everything else going out there?
Good.
Crickets, no.
Oh, I like to hear that.
I-
Tell me.
Alright.
I think it's really good. Just hearing, all the stuff that I got going on, Damon's got going on, you got stuff going on. Just everybody in the office has got stuff going on. It seems like, and then you hear the Mortgage News Daily said that the applications were up 15% last month from last year. So like, and Rory keeps saying that things are still coming in, and they're getting better. So I don't know. Seems pretty good. Everything's going in the right direction. Interest rates are coming down a little bit. So,
It's gonna be a busy
I'm
spring,
in
summer.
property management now. If anybody needs to send some people my way, you can.
We're working with
I'll
Rachel.
take them on. I'm working with Rachel.
Has anybody been keeping up with like foreclosures? Have y'all noticed that? How many more there are right now?
No.
I saw an article. It's like it was nationwide, but they were saying that foreclosures, which they were looking at election and demand plus repos, is up like 32% over last year. And like I know that now, what is it? VA, they have their own little website.
So yeah, it's funny that you do say that. I have a house under contract with the VA that's foreclosure, and it's
Yeah.
super awesome. It's so cool. You
Has
just
the process been
the
easy?
process is good.
Yeah.
So I just talked with them. It's actually the people who are buying it live right behind that house, and they're buying it for their son who's having a kid, and they're gonna combine yards, right? And so he knew it was gonna go foreclosure because he knew the people behind. And so right when it came up on their website, I told him, and we put an offer in. But the way I did it is you just put everything in right away, and then you submit. and then so you don't have them sign anything right up front. You're not like, hey, sign this exclusive or not exclusive, this contract to buy, right? So you just do everything by yourself. The other agent says, okay, the VA says that they'll give you this amount in concessions instead of this amount, and then you're just going back and forth until you get it, and then they send you a DocuSign to sign. So now we're under contract with it, we're under DocuSign, but there's nothing they're going to fix on inspection. If there's squatters in there, that's like it's like as is, where is,
Yep.
nothing.
Well, no, I was noticing, like, 'cause there's 21 of them out there right now. 21 VA foreclosures on the market.
Okay, I have an idea.
And some of them are really good. Like,
Yeah.
Make some money.
I
That
hate
sounds
Lorson
good.
Ranch because the taxes down there are so
The
expensive.
Metro.
But I had somebody that wanted to look at one of them because it was like a 1,700 square foot, obviously very, very new, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath house over there that was listed at 308.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, I have,
buy
an,
it.
I have an idea, you
308
guys.
was the
So,
price on that
Wow.
thing.
you know, we're talking about different prompts where we can call our people and say, hey, the El Paso County thing and the tax thing or whatever. I think that what we should do is I'll fire up the brokerage's HUD home store a number again. I'll get that. You have to have a number with HUD to get all the HUD foreclosures and make offers on them. And then with the VAs, we should look those up and start calling our people going, hey, there's foreclosures happening right now and there's a lot of good deals out there. Do you know anybody that wants like a $400,000 home for 308? And people might go, yeah, my son does, or yeah, my aunt does, or maybe I do, maybe I should sell my house and buy that, right? So I think stirring up that pot a little bit would help, because I have people all the time asking me if I can sell them a foreclosure or whatever, and
I do
go,
too.
no,
Yeah.
I should, there's
Yeah.
not very many foreclosures right now. Well, maybe you stir that pot a little bit, because that's what I did in 2008. I just started stirring the pot, and man, next thing you know it, I would sell somebody's house for X dollars, and we would move them into something that had more equity. So I called it an equity exchange, where we would just exchange your equity for another foreclosure. So it would give me two sides. I'd do a sale and a listing and a buy. So there may be people that are kicking the tires right now about moving. That might be the call that they're looking for.
Yeah, or like you said, to somebody who just wants a good deal.
Yeah,
Straight up.
because I remember my stockbroker
For
a long
somebody that
time
wants an
ago.
investment property.
He used to call and go, "Hey Rob, Home Depot is way down right now, and it's Home Depot. They're never gonna
course.
go, but they're like 40% down because they had a bad blah 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 blah, and somebody sued them." He's like, "I think you should buy some stock," and I'm like, "No, man, I don't think I'm interested." But I always remember, I was like, "What a stud! That guy is calling me, and I bet he's trying to hook people up, and that
He's doing
seemed."
the Wolf of Wall Street on you.
Yeah, something just came across my desk, John.
Dude, he was so studly, because I met that stockbroker. I was doing some landscaping for my grandpa, and he was walking the streets, and he was brand new, and he had a suit on and stuff. And he started talking to me about IRAs and different things, and I was like, "Hey, man, I'm not really interested." Well, I ended up meeting with him and opening up an IRA for my kids.
Oh, right, there you go. Yeah.
And then he's like, "Hey," he'd be calling me, "Hey, Rob, who do you know, man? Who do you know? Do you know somebody else that should have an IRA?" And so I gave him one person, Well, one day I'm sitting at a Thanksgiving table with all the relatives, and someone was like, "Man, I need a good stockbroker." And somebody at the end of the table was like, "Oh, you use my stockbroker, Tom Tang." And the other person went, "No, that's my stockbroker." And everybody's like, "Well, that's my..." The entire family,
Nice.
from my one name that I gave,
Crazy.
he infiltrated my entire family, and they all claimed him as their stockbroker.
Nice.
That's a stud.
Yeah, that's
So that kind of shows you how, if we start calling these people, we can infiltrate their SOI with some foreclosures.
yeah. No, yes, yeah.
All we have to do is find a couple, like she said.
Well, that
308.
site is
That's like
it is
what I
really
bought my
awesome.
house for
It
years
is. It's
ago.
awesome.
Yeah,
We're still at historical lows, but it's a little bit higher than last year.
but since it's hard to find a good deal, because everybody wants so much out there, maybe there is some good deals, so we're just gonna inform our people, hey, there's some good deals out there.
Yes.
You know anybody that's interested? Because if you remember, when we were at Prospectors, the business meeting, we asked everybody, how many of you guys know somebody that wants a good deal that should be taking advantage of foreclosures? Every person raised their hand. And I said, you have no excuse not to send somebody to me, although you guys just raised your hand saying you know somebody that needs a good deal.
Yeah,
And nobody sent anything.
that
So if
site.
I called them and asked them,
Sounds
they
like
might
me and
send
I.
somebody. Right.
That site is called VRM Mortgage Services. So that's the veterans site that they use to sell their foreclosures.
VRM, that's the new
VRM,
one?
and
Yeah.
they pay 3%.
Oh, well, here, I'll write that down, put it in the newsletter.
Yeah. VRM properties.
Changed over the years.
Yeah, it's super easy.
VRM mortgages?
Yeah, it's probably honestly like one of the ways real estate will be done in the future. Some kind of
Well, that's the way it was done in 2008 during the crash.
Yeah,
Well,
like
but
I
they
even-
had different sites. And
I
then-
did one
yeah.
in Pueblo. This guy, he wanted to buy a foreclosed property, and so I helped him with it. But he paid me, like, to be there with him the whole time, like as a buyer. You know, he paid me.
Yeah, right.
And you know, dude, I just really, you know, honestly, there was a big part of me that really didn't feel like if he was more confident, you know, and if he was more wanting to do it, he could have just done it all on his own.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He did not need me, you know, like
Right.
I was there doing, like making sure everything was cool, obviously, and doing the job, but it was so facilitated that I was like, this might be the way things are done in the future, you know, where somebody just
Yeah.
puts an offer in online, the seller accepts it, they go through the prompts, title, and they say it's as is or walk away, you know, and then they accept it.
Yeah.
Because that's how that deal was. We couldn't object to anything, you know, they're not going to fix anything. It's like, do you want to close on it? Yes or no? There's like really no emotion, you know, it's like more cut.
Well, where they, like when you do the HUD home store with the HUD properties, there's a benefit to having a realtor because they will winterize all the properties. And so you can't when you do an inspection, you can't turn on every toilet and everything, you can't turn it on. So you have to do like an air test to see if there's any leaks, because some of these things have massive leaks or whatever, there's problems.
Yeah.
And so it's really good to have a realtor at least knows the right people to do tests and different
Sure,
things.
yeah, and I agree with that too. Yeah, having like boots on the ground, like, but with this veterans one, it's different because they're paying that realtor 3%, and then they're also paying me 3%. So I'm doing everything. Like I'm looking through the contract with
Yeah.
him, and you know, but now it's kind of like my job's kind of done. You know, we can't object to anything.
That's right.
You know, we've already looked at it. They're moving forward. Just the lender needs to get what he needs, and the title needs what they need, and then we're kind of done. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like it just seems like it's great, but I don't know. It scares me seeing that because it's like, all right, maybe just one day we're just not.
But that
gonna-
worked out great with that one, but th- there are things that happen where you gotta kill the deal.
Oh right,
Like, it is
right.
as
yeah,
is,
yeah.
but you have the right to kill the deal. And
Or something
so
comes up on title, right?
Something happens.
Okay, now
yeah.
here's how I advise, right? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
right.
you're just there with them, I guess. Yeah, you're just like how a lawyer is. I'm sure if we were all lawyers, we did it every day, it'd be really easy, you know. And then it's like, but since we don't do it every day, it's like a big deal, right? Like if you're going to court, you're like, well, I need somebody who knows. It's the same. It's a Veblen good. That's what it's called. It's a Veblen good.
A Veblen good.
A Veblen good. Yeah. It's like it has the value of it like isn't intrinsically worth it, but somehow it's like a Veblen. Let me look that up.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a new one.
How's open houses? You doing open houses?
Yep. I didn't do one this past weekend because it was a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's always slow on this.
Oh, of course. Yeah, right.
So, a Veblen good is a luxury product such as a high-end watch, handbag, exotic cars, for which demand increases as price rises, defying traditional supply and demand laws. So maybe it's not a Veblen good.
Okay.
but still like a high
Yeah.
price. Yeah.
Okay, back to open houses. Are open houses really worth doing right now? Like, is that, I've seen stuff all over the internet, and I don't know why the internet's so ridiculous. People are like, open houses suck. Why would you ever do open houses? And then there's people that are like, open houses are the way to get buyers right now.
Yeah, no.
What would you say? Well, if you're writing an article, what would you say would be?
I think like so when I first started doing open houses, I was the same way. I was like, they don't work. There's no way. Because it was I started off on that team, and then they were like, oh hey, do you want to do an open house on my listing? And I didn't know, like the biggest thing is just signs, like putting signs out. So
Yeah,
that
right.
when
Getting
people
us
see it.
traffic.
Like if it's a house that I can't put up signs on, then I just won't do it. Then it's not worth their time. Because if it's in the middle of a neighborhood, like nobody's gonna show up.
Yeah,
Even
right.
if you put it online and like make a bunch of videos and make a bunch of flyers, it's just the signs at the end of the day. But like,
So you think that the sign, like you're just wanting to get the neighbors involved, like everybody who's driving around there to
I don't-
come and look?
I don't like neighbors. I really want like pretty much like so.
A busy road.
So the one that I closed. Tim, he bought your house, Marin Mesa.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
one
yeah.
right across
Yeah.
from yours. So I met him. Was it like 2-3 months ago? 2.5 months ago. And we did. It was at an open house down in my neighborhood down in Cheyenne Meadows. And
Whoa!
He was the one. No, there were two people that showed up on both Saturday and Sunday, and he was one of them. And it was a $400,000 house, and he just seen the signs and was just driving by. And he's from Boulder, so he doesn't really know the areas or anything.
Right, yeah.
And then
So he wasn't going there because you put it on, like he didn't see
he
it
just saw
online.
the signs. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And so that's what I want is just for people to see the signs. That's typically like the people that I pick up. There's
You're kicking
we just saw the
tires.
signs. Yeah.
That's so
Um,
crazy.
And then so the next day, the very next day, he called me. We went out looking at houses, and then we closed on that one. And then Picket Fence, which is this one, that was on the listing side. But I met these guys at my open house at Beckham like 3 years ago, and they didn't like this house, and then they went and bought this house like a week later down the road.
Boy, back to Tim.
Oh yeah,
He saw your signs down in Cheyenne Meadows,
yeah,
and he turned in, came in, was talking to you.
yeah,
Next day, you're looking at houses,
yeah.
and you sell him one right up here, right across the street from me.
So it's a $400,000 house, but it's pre-approved for like $800.
So
Wow!
was he already pre-approved?
Yeah, yeah, and his lender, like gave him recommendations for realtors and everything. But like, so I tell people like, like part of my spiel is like, hey, there are 5,000 realtors, shop around. Like I'm very like nonchalant about it, and like sometimes like the really good open house from a while ago was Sonny and Blake. Remember Sonny? It was their first time playing poker. I met them and they'd interviewed like 7 other agents. But it was the same thing. I met them and the Copelands at one open house, and that turned into 3 deals.
Wow.
2 buy and a sell. So,
So, okay, so back to, if you're writing an article,
yeah.
are you saying absolutely open houses work?
Yeah.
Because here's what I'm thinking. It's like running a race. You could strike, if you were running against 5 other people, because like you said, they have 7 other realtors.
Yeah.
If you're running a race against 5 people, you could lose every single race,
Yeah.
right? Because you just suck.
Yeah.
You're not training. Do you have to, is your advice that there's no way you can't get clients doing an open house? Can you lose every single race? Or is it just how good you are, how good you train? Is it the signs?
What's the secret sauce?
What's the secret sauce?
It's a consistency.
The-
I'll tell
this-
you what I think the secret
Wait,
sauce
wait,
is.
let's hear from him first. Oh, you
The-
want to hear hers?
Okay, yeah.
He doesn't do open houses on his own listings typically. He does them on other people's,
Well,
which
he-
gives
he
him the right to
strategically-
point out all of the flaws
All
and
the
everything
flaws.
else with the house. He is building trust. He's showing expertise and he's building trust by pointing out to people and educating them and telling them what they need to look for and
Right.
things.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's building rapport.
Yeah.
So that's how
Yeah.
he's drawing people in.
There's that
You know what
disconnect.
I mean?
You're like, I
And
give a shit you buy this
creating-
house. Yeah.
Creating
Right, I
a
don't care.
relationship
Yeah.
that turns into
But he's also,
them
he's
wanting
also
him to
picking,
represent them.
houses in strategic locations.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which,
too.
which I remember asking
Yeah.
you if you wanted to do an open house on Mission Hill, and you said no. The signs,
Yeah,
is-
yeah.
and I'm like, in my mind,
It was a really nice house up there.
yeah,
but,
we're
like,
under contract now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I was like, in my mind, whenever I do open houses, I'm like, these signs don't matter. Like, I'm like, nobody's gonna just make a huge purchase on. Yeah, let me just go see because there's a sign.
So the reason that the signs are like the location on this, but it all goes back to the signs, right? Is because I want people who aren't represented yet. So those are typically early stage people, and I've had them close as soon as 7 days, but most of the time it's like 3 or 6 months. But they're early in the process so that I can get them when they don't have a realtor, because they walk in and I usually do like just my general education spiel and everything. Then after that I ask them if they have a realtor or not, or if they're working with somebody. And then after that I typically get an honest answer. But yeah, and then it takes a little while, but it's just I don't know.
Yeah, once you have it moving, you got people in the pipeline that are falling out of the funnel.
Well, and it's so much more powerful because you're meeting them in person. It's like you're getting a
Yes.
meeting in person. You're not on the phone. It's like right there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you having them sign in like right away as soon as they walk in, or after?
No.
I don't do that either. I'm like, is it worth me following up with you? They're like, yeah, sure, and I'll
Yeah.
grab their info. I don't make everybody sign in either.
If you force people to sign in, they're gonna like. I don't have any fake info anymore, and like it just. I hate the fake info. Like when you write up an email, send it to them, and it comes back and the
Yeah,
number's
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
So like I used to do that early on. Like I would try to get people to sign in. Now it's just like if they don't want to sign in, they don't want to sign in. I don't care. And it's like
Do you say, if you want to sign in, you can, if not, no big deal?
yeah, like if you want to stay in touch, you can sign in. If not, no big deal.
All right, so then
Um,
after they talk to you, somebody's like, you know what, I'm going to sign in because
Yeah.
let's talk. I'm not ready for the next 4 months, but, let's talk.
Yeah.
And then you give them your poker chip.
Yes. So like Tim, he never got any of my emails or texts that I sent him. He just had my card and he was like, oh, I never saw any of that. So that was the first time that worked. But I'm going to go back to, because I was like handing out cards. Now I'm just going to go back to, I don't have any cards on me. I'm sorry. Because if you give somebody a card or a handout, then they won't sign in.
Oh.
Right, how are we going to connect? Yeah,
Yeah.
your
Well,
info.
or you can wait till they sign in, and if they're about ready to leave, then hand them a
If,
card.
I text
if they
them my
sign
digital.
in, then I hand them a card.
Yeah.
But
There
if
you
they
go.
don't want to sign in, it never works, but I like saying it sometimes. I'm like, listen, man, like this is a two-way street. If you're not going to trust me with your email and phone number, you're not going to trust me with the biggest purchase of your life, and that's okay, And
Yeah,
they get really
right,
mad
yeah.
and they storm out.
Yeah. So I guess taking criticism or taking no is also an art.
I had
with
a
no big
lady.
deal.
I had a lady yell at me because she was working with a realtor, and she's like, "Oh, since you're a realtor, can I ask you a question about this other house, real quick?" And I was like, "Well, you already have a realtor, so I would ask them. I typically don't, give advice about, other houses in general." And she was like, "Ugh," and just like starts screaming and like runs out the door. But like when people go into an open house, and if you tell them no, like they get super mad. I don't know, it's funny.
Well, okay, so
Like-
I tell people when they say I have a realtor,
Yeah.
and then they go, well, can I ask you a question about blah blah blah?
Yeah.
And then I start telling them, they're like, holy crap, this guy has way more knowledge than my realtor. And
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot of people that way.
Yeah. It-
So that's
yeah.
they might not, or they, because the reason why I know that is because they'll say, oh, that's interesting. My other realtor just takes us out, blah, 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 and starts saying stuff. And I go, oh, well, and I say something else. And then they're like,
Yeah.
would you take us to see a house? Oh, man. Oh, it's like so crazy. I've had that happen dozens of times.
But most of them now, if they have a realtor, and especially if they know their name, if they say they have a realtor and they don't know their name, then I just do a whole different spiel because then I know
Yeah,
their name. But if they have a realtor and they know their name, I don't think that I've ever converted one from that because most of them have an exclusive right to buy. I had one who was like, I hate my realtor, here's what's going on. And that's the other thing is if they really don't like their realtor, there's probably something else going on.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on? And she was telling me all this stuff and I was like, listen to your realtor.
Yeah,
those
right,
expectations
right.
are not reasonable.
Right,
you know?
right,
And
right.
if you have an issue with her, talk to her.
Right, right.
But then, because then you end up with the crazies who are like, I want a brand new water
Totally.
heater. Yeah.
I've heard that from 2 clients now who have been awful people, you know,
Yeah.
like just not good. And they say the same thing. They both said the same. They're like, oh well, you just don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to.
You don't know how to negotiate.
Yeah, and it's like,
my favorite is, oh, you know, I have to find all the houses, and I'm like, yeah.
yeah, well,
Like you don't even know what you want. Like
Yeah,
I
right.
promise you, if you give me criteria, you're gonna buy something different.
totally.
Like
That's
they
right,
will do
that's
that.
That happens a lot too.
It's like
Yeah.
you're not paying me to find the house for you. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. You're paying for me for advice and negotiating, and that's about it. Like
Right, or it's like I frame it like this sometimes. I'm like, right now, you're not drunk, but when we start house hunting, you're gonna get drunk, and I'm gonna be the one sober who reminds you. Remember, you wanted
that, I
this.
love that
You know,
analogy.
remember, hey, you're a little drunk right now. You're high off of this experience. Let me just guide you real quick right now where your goals were. You know.
I tell
Wow,
them
that's a
it's,
good. I like that.
I tell them it's like Harry Potter. The wand chooses the wizard. The house chooses the person.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Oh,
Nice,
interesting.
nice.
Okay, so now
Funny.
you have to tell us. Oh wait, you said what the secret sauce is. Is that she correct on that? The secret sauce.
Yeah. I just overeducate people. So most of the time, like, and I go to open houses sometimes. Like if I'm a little bit early, I'll walk in and then the agents sit there and they try to sell the house or they just don't say a whole lot. I just don't shut up the second that they walk in the door.
Oh, you really just keep
Yeah,
talking.
yeah.
You don't let them just. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, let me
Yeah.
ask you this: how many open houses do you do a year? Do you think?
There's probably like maybe 4 or 5 weekends that I don't.
Okay.
But
Like
mostly every
if
weekend.
it's heavy snow, or like the Super Bowl weekends always suck. I probably should have done one this past
Christmas
weekend.
weekend.
Because you think people would be out.
Yeah. But I mean every weekend except for maybe like 4 or 5 weekends.
When you're just not feeling it. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Okay, so during the week,
Yeah.
those 5 days during the week, are there days that you take off during those 5 days, and you because you work almost every weekend?
Yeah. Some like I try to make Monday and Tuesday my weekend.
Okay.
But the good thing and the bad thing about doing open houses is like
God, I bet your wife is pissed.
Tim, for example. I was up there. I don't know if you saw, but I was up there about 15 or 20 times
Yeah.
for the inspection. But that was all like during the week, and like a lot of people, like I noticed, like I'll tell them, and like they know, like listen, like I'm doing open houses every single weekend, and unless I have a client, Mitchie and Vinny, you met them, they play poker. We were in like 6 or 7 bidding wars. And so they were like going, like dropping offers. So I would not do an open house so we could go look at houses.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Right.
But other than that, if they're, unless they're actively dropping offers, I'm not going to skip an open house for them.
Or like
Yeah.
they're active. You just parlay it after your open house. Like you'll do your open house and then you'll show houses, right?
Yeah.
Just-
So-
while you're already dressed nice and
Yeah.
everything, and
Or early Saturday or in the afternoon. So there's always enough time to do the showings during the weekend. Or if they're just kind of like casually looking, I've told them like, listen, I'm sorry, like here's kind of like how I prioritize things. Like I have like a couple clients right now that are actively dropping offers, and then I'll just let them know that. And I'm like, hey, like they'll have to be careful about it. But most of them are like, yeah, I'm just kind of casually looking right now, and then I'll just kind of prioritize them that way. Because sometimes,
but you pre-approve them first.
nope.
So you don't. That's what it sounded
Never.
like. You don't. You just go straight up showing it.
Oh yeah,
I've had-
absolutely.
I've had,
that should be your prerequisite then
I've
to
had-
show houses.
Now you're developing a relationship.
Yeah, because if you push somebody to get pre-approved, one, they're gonna freak out. It makes people. I've had maybe like Tim was pre-approved already, and there was maybe like one or two others, but all the rest of them just weren't. And so, but I asked him certain, like if they sound like an idiot, then I'll ask them, I can pre-qual somebody better than most lenders.
Well, I
and you
I
never
do
know.
that too.
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah.
Like I'm working with an older couple right now
Yeah.
who they're not pre-approved, and I have shown them houses.
But
yeah,
you
but
know,
I know.
that they're, you
But
know.
if you're talking about random open house people,
Well,
if they're internet people, 1,000% they're going to get pre-approved before
Okay,
they look at
yeah, I
us.
see.
But
Yeah,
if I've
okay.
already met them
Yes,
and I've
yeah.
talked to them and I'm like, all right, they seem smart. Okay, we're cool.
or yeah, they know what
And
to afford, and
There
yeah.
are plenty of them that I meet in person. I'm like, oh, what price point are you looking at? They're like, oh, 500. I'm like, cool. Well, what do you want to keep your monthly mortgage payment at? And they're like, oh, around 1,000. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right,
Are you
exactly.
putting any money down? No. I just want to keep it around 1,000.
You're
I just never talk to
pre-approving them in your
again.
mind.
Yeah.
You're pre-approving them in your mind, exactly.
totally.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do for years, because all those Zillow leads, all the sign calls, when somebody calls on your sign, you would just run out and show and try to develop a relationship. And sometimes you're showing them a $500,000 home, you end up selling them an $800,000. Sometimes
Or the
you're
opposite.
looking at a 500 and you're selling them a 300.
Yeah, right.
And so, I always have my little spiels, but at least I had them, because I developed that relationship without saying, well, are you pre-approved? I'm not gonna show you unless you're pre-approved. I would just run out and do it.
Yeah.
Because face-to-face is so powerful. So I have a question for you. So, if you were writing an article and telling people to do open houses, do you think it's, if somebody did 40 open houses, 40 weekends, how many hours would that be? I'd like to know how many hours.
Well, it's 40
Is it-
times 4
do you
hours. 400 hours.
It'd be 80 times, how many hours a day? 3 hours, 4 hours a
But
day?
he has to pick up the signs too, so there's like another hour of
You
commute.
think 5,
It's
10 hours a weekend?
3, 6, 7, 8. Call it 8 hours a week.
8 hours a week? That's
For one
also
open
putting
house?
sign?
Yeah. So 8 hours every week of prospecting.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so if you did
Which
with your
is-
calculator, if you do 8 times
365 divided
40,
by 4.
Oh, wait, hold on.
8 times 40,
Is
What was the math?
91 weeks.
40?
8 hours a
Okay,
weekend.
no.
It's 320
Times 40
hours.
Yeah,
weeks.
that's not 400. Yeah.
320 hours?
So 320 divided by 8, so that's 40 days. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
40 days.
no, 40 weekends.
Oh, 40
There's
weekends,
52
yeah.
weeks.
Right, right.
There's
right?
360.
Okay, so 320 hours. If you sold a $500,000 home and you got 2.5%, what is that? 13,000 something? Can you
12,500.
12,500?
Okay.
Do 12,500 divided by 320, you said? 320.
39. So $39 an hour.
$39 an hour. Okay,
That doesn't.
Charles.
That doesn't sound right at all. That doesn't sound
Sounds like
right.
I need to find another job.
What? Wait, hold on.
No.
Hold on.
So that's the equivalent of working for
But
like a normal
that's-
job, a 40-hour week for 2 months.
But hold on
I
there.
was
I
gonna
got
say,
some.
but that's assuming you're only selling one house.
Yes,
I mean,
okay,
look
so
at how many he
that's
sells
my
per
question.
year.
So that's my question.
Yeah.
How many do you sell
Wait,
per
wait, hold
year?
on, hold on. Let me finish my question here.
Okay.
Now, a novice person that doesn't know how you, because you're obviously advanced in this, do you think if they did 40 weekends, do you think it would be impossible for them to not sell a single house?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So you think there's an absolute guarantee, you think, how in the world could they not sell a single?
think-
They would have to completely suck.
They'd have to
Yeah,
completely
yeah,
drop
yeah.
the ball.
Okay,
Yeah.
it'd just be the worst personality on the
yeah,
planet.
yeah.
Okay, so I would say there's probably at least another 100%, maybe 50% chance they can sell 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
As long
So-
as long as they're I mean there's always the chance that they can just run into somebody who just meets the first person that they see.
yeah,
Because if they're if they're going to an open house, they've already been to a few others, and then so they're meeting multiple agents. So that's the competition. Is everybody like every time I meet them at an open house, it's not the only one that they've gone to, or the first one that they've gone to. Sometimes it is, but they've already gone to, and that's what helps me pick up clients. Is they've been to other open houses and they've heard the weird stuff that everybody else tells them, and then they come to me and they're like, "Oh, that's different."
Yeah.
So then how many do you think you credit to, how many transactions a year do you credit to doing open houses?
Oh, 7 to 10 maybe.
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I was gonna guess.
In a year.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Even if you
That's just, that's just incredible.
Well,
you
even
guys.
if you didn't even do it every weekend, if let's just say you did it once a month, if you took 25% of what he's doing, that's still like, you could say 2 transactions. If you round it up to 8,
Last year I did 10, and I think 6 of those were open houses.
6 of them were open houses,
Yeah.
and that was from doing an open house every weekend.
Yeah. And I've done 2 this year that have been open houses so far.
Wow.
I've got a call a lady.
Ah,
She came
jeez.
into one of my open houses, and they're thinking they want to buy something for her niece here in this town, and they're gonna come stay in an Airbnb for a month in April. And I talked to this other guy that walked into one of my open houses all the time.
Yeah,
He was
it's-
like, "I'm a networker. I'll refer you all kinds of business. Check out this condo. I think it might work for one of my employees." Like,
So as bad as it sounds,
talk all the time.
I hate open houses, but at the same time, I got a friend that I keep trying to do something with him, and he's like, I gotta work today, I gotta work today, I gotta work today, he's always gotta work. And it's like, when I think about, what if I had to work every weekend, there's jobs where people have to work every weekend.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, why wouldn't I work for myself
Oh my god.
4 hours a day on Saturday and
Dude,
Sunday?
there's
Like,
somebody out there right
40
now.
times.
Tons of them clocking in all hours. I went to Home Depot the other day, and there was like a cluster of all those dudes in their aprons, like just hanging, shooting the shit. I'm like, what are you doing in here? What are you?
Exactly.
Time is going by.
I don't want to
dude.
laugh, but it's true. Because we get so lazy ourselves.
I know. I feel
That's
like
why I'm so
right.
And it's like,
yeah.
and then we complain about, I need more transactions,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, oh my goodness,
And then on the flip side, like I would rather do that, like maybe I only do 10 deals a year, but I make more money than people who are doing 50.
Oh, way
20,
more.
There's an agent that I know on another team that closed one recently, and wasn't explained to her, but it was a Zillow lead, right? So Zillow took 40%, the team took 50%.
yes, right, that's
And so
right.
out of 12 grand of commissions, he walked away with $2,500.
Yeah, all that
There
work.
was, there was Zillow, then the team split, then the brokerage split.
And tax.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, the broker split,
Yeah.
and the
Oh my God.
and then you got to pay taxes.
Yep.
It's so
but
brutal.
before taxes, it was $2,500, and so she's running around like crazy doing all these deals. But
Right.
You gotta do 2 deals a month just to
Yeah.
survive.
Oh my god.
and then
Wow.
they're gonna get hit with RICO charges probably. I don't know if
Oh.
you guys heard about that. The Zillow
No.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
Zillow's
yeah,
gonna
Oh.
do with
yeah,
RICO
yeah.
charges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
they're
then
doing
Redfin's gonna go under because
Yeah.
they're doing the same thing, and then everybody who's
What kind
a
of
flex
charges?
agent, they already changed. they
RICO,
already-
is that racketeering?
so
Check the
Zillow's throwing all the flex agents under the bus.
Oh,
It's like gangster charges.
thank God.
Like
So,
trying to run like a mob.
Yeah, the whole like you have to
Or
use you
have
have
to
to get
use
them to use
mortgage.
Zillow home loans,
Yeah.
otherwise
Okay.
we're going to
They're getting sued for that. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So
But what do you think the RICO charges? What do you mean by RICO charges?
oh, it's a racketeering.
Well, I know, but that's not going to go to us.
Yeah.
How-
It's so like I
It'll
like
go
this
to the
analogy.
brokerages that are
So
signed
if
up
you
with them, huh?
if you
Yeah.
get in the car with your friend, right? You're the agent, and the friend who's driving is Zillow, right?
Yeah.
And then they pull up to the store, and they're like, "All right, here's a gun. Go in there and rob the store," right?
Yes.
like nobody forced you to do it.
Yeah,
You
you're
just
going
gotten
to
out
jail
of the car. But I think that's, I don't know, it depends on how they fight it, because the lawyers are just after their money at the end of the day. But there's a good chance that, and they've already changed the name of the program, but Zillow's going to go back and throw all those agents under the bus and say, no, we didn't do that. It's the agent. They should have known better, which is true, I guess. But.
Yeah, so it's racketeering, influenced, and corruption organizations.
Because they were doing
Right,
what?
so
What were the agents doing?
They
had to
were-
push the loans, the Zillow home loans.
Oh,
Yeah.
pushing.
They said you
the
have to use Zillow
okay.
Home Loans, you have to use our services, or you can't be one of our agents. And so they're giving you tons of transactions, and you're giving them 40% of your income.
So yeah, like fraud,
So-
bribery, extortion.
Wow.
I did an email about that, and it's like one
Yeah,
of the
that's
things which
interesting.
is a non-issue is
Because I'd be
people.
like, I can't force anyone to use anybody.
But then they kick
Oh,
you
Jason
out.
Twitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I can't.
Oh.
I mean,
It's like
Hey, Jason.
it's like you want insurance, don't you? It'd be
Hey,
awful
we're
if something were to
we're
happen.
sitting in
If you
here
didn't
in
use
a
our loan
round
program, sure would be a shame.
And I'm gonna put you on speakerphone because I want you to tell us what happened with that situation with FERPTA.
Great question. So it turns out that the FERPTA issue was in fact with a different one of her other listings, and I won't say who the closer was because you're probably still recording that, but somebody at the previous company made a very derogatory remark to the seller of the other home, to the fact that you shouldn't be in this country anyway. And so she picked up all of her listings, which was 3 or 4 listings, and took them regardless of when they were closing. And mine happened to be one of those, and it was within 4 days of closing, which we did close, by the way. But
So you guys got to close because it was a mistake with a different listing, and it wasn't actually this listing.
and this, yes, and I did actually confirm with that. I did actually confirm with the Stewart Title representative, ironically, who happened to be what do you call it? Somebody that received their citizenship after the fact, not a naturally born citizen.
Yeah.
And she said, I deal with FERPTA all the time. I've already confirmed that they pay taxes. I've seen their ID. I've done all these FERPTA type requirements already. She's like, I always double check that when there's an issue like that. So anyway, it turned out, yes. And so the agent called me afterwards, like after I was being a real jackass about it.
Yeah.
And she said, look, I understand what you're trying to do and I appreciate it, but here's the real story.
Yeah. Okay.
And once she told me the real story, I was like, why wouldn't you just tell me that up front? Then I wouldn't have been such a jerk.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
but it took me being a real, and then maybe she didn't know initially, but I don't know. But yeah, once I heard that, I was like, okay, yep, done, enough said. If you've kind of squelched my suspicion, but it's done.
Okay.
nice.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Thank
It
you and
was,
congrats. We were all
it was a
wondering how
brutal
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What I did confirm with both Land and Stewart that, in that scenario, if you've got someone that's, I would ask as a realtor, identifies something for you, but if you're the listing agent, it is going to come back on the buyer. So regardless of what side you're on, it is in fact that buyer's responsibility
That's so wrong.
for them, not the seller. It's the buyer's ultimate responsibility for the FERPTA tax.
That's wicked, man. That's wicked.
So I have confirmed that with attorneys and
Okay.
confirmed that with tax people, and it is, and it's, I mean, it does say it right in there in the FERPTA information, but basically, you know, what they're trying to prevent is that money laundering and taxes not being paid on that sale. So if it were to go through that whole mitigation, title claims, all of that stuff, ultimately that buyer who bought the foreign national's home that didn't pay taxes on it is going to get that
That's
tax
sick.
burden.
That's so wrong.
It's so jacked up, right?
It is. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thank
So-
you then.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Sorry
All
I
right.
missed today.
No problem.
All
We'll
right.
talk
See you
later.
guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
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 That is crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but do you guys ever, when you go like on like a serious listing appointment, when you're like, all right, this one, this is a big dollar one, right? Do you guys go to title and have them make you one of those books? Like they pull
Yeah,
title.
we do sometimes,
I do that. Like, so I have one that's hopefully coming up in Rock Rimmon. It's like $1 million house, dude. And before I went there, I pulled title and had them give me one of those
Yeah.
books. And they said on what they did, they're like, they have something on here that wasn't paid off correctly, like through Colorado, like from another state or something, like some business that they had, something wasn't paid. And so when I went to that listing appointment, I told them that. I said, hey, this is something that's going to come up. You know, we can deal with it now before you list it, right? And so then we did. We were on the phone with title, and then she had to get a hold, like her bank or whatever, who gave them the loan and to get off whatever they needed to get off. And we were all corresponding, and, you know, I felt good because I felt like, okay, I should be the one now to for sure get this listing.
Yeah, you
because,
helped them.
Right, I gave a little value right up front, you
right,
know, and so
yeah.
I do that now with a lot of listing appointments. If it's like a big enough fish, you know, a big enough house, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pull title on, and I tell them that I pull title, everything's cool, you know, like preliminarily everything's looking good, right? And then they just feel better,
Right.
You know, it makes me feel better.
Well, that was
so,
my strategy.
but I wonder if that would come up with the FERPTA thing, like you're foreign, you're gonna have to pay this tax, you know.
Well, I don't know. It depends on. Yeah, I don't know.
It probably wouldn't. That wouldn't show on or O&E or anything like
On
that.
their, if they pulled title and they see that this person's a foreign person,
I don't think they see that on title.
I don't know. They might.
Not on like the initial search. I don't think.
I don't know. They, like I said, they found that one
I don't know.
thing
Maybe.
before. I don't know. So I don't know. Maybe that's just something you guys could do if you
Yeah.
were really worried. You
Be
know?
like, because I pull an O&E on everything, buy or sell, and you know, just with that information, you can find things ahead of time before you go under contract. And so if they had hadn't paid taxes or property taxes, and they got a lien on their property, then that would come up, and you'd be like, wow. Hey guys, guess what?
It's coming from your proceeds.
Don't know if you knew, but hey, I'm so great. I found it out.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it costs
yeah.
like what, $5 or $9?
$5.
I've had one
$5.
listing appointment that I went to where I pulled an O&E because she was like, I just want to sell to an investor, and I was like, okay, this is already going to be an issue property, I think. And so I pulled an O&E, and she had like 9 judgments and some other stuff. I was like, oh crap! And so then when I talked to her, and I was like, so there's, she already told me about some of them, and I was like, I know you told me about 2 or 3 judgments. I'm like, but I just want you to know on title there's like all of these, and she's like, holy crap, I don't have that many judgments, and I was like. Okay, well, you need to figure this out then. And so she called all those places. She's like, yeah, that, like 3 or 4 of them were different names, or different, like her daughter or something, and weren't hers. And then,
She might have been a co-signer.
two of them were like already paid
Right.
off or something,
That's
or
fraud.
she, so they took those off. But like,
Oh, okay.
but she, so out of those 9, really there were only 3 or 4 legitimate ones.
Only 3 or 4.
But yeah.
3 of these are mine though.
Yeah. But it was kind of crazy when I saw it. I was like, "Holy crap!" Like,
I went to this guy's. I went to so my girlfriend, her family. They're cool. They're all cool, right? But they come. Like where I grew up in the trailer park in the Springs Mobile Home Park, right? So it's like that kind of setting, right? And so I walk into their it's not a trailer, but I walk into this house and I'm like, hey, I was like, this is a nice kitchen you got in here, man. I was like, and he's like, yeah, thanks. I started a fire and the landlord replaced the whole kitchen. Like he had a fire happen like on the stove and it ruined some things. I was like, oh, so you don't own this house? And he's like, no. He's like, this guy's real cool though. Yeah, he got the kitchen and he's like, sometimes I'm late on rent, but it's like, he kind of gave it that, I'm still good for it, kind of thing. I was just like, in my mind, I was like, oh man, this is so crazy, just how some people are operating. Like, he was older too. It's like, dude, you're still living this life, a little bit, just going into like the fraud and the.
Well, some people just don't see the realm of possibility for them, and sometimes when they get to be in their later years, they feel like it's too late. And I know that's the thing with one of my brothers. He's 66 years old. He's a disabled veteran, I'm sure there's a pathway to get him to home ownership. It may take a year or two, but he is so not in that mindset of thinking about buying.
Too
a
late
house.
for me.
Right.
Or they
He's
just
like-
never have thought about it.
Yeah.
They never thought about.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, he's done it in the past before, but never really like kept any equity from it, and it was like he probably owned that house for a few years, 20, 30 years ago or something, and just throughout his life never really took any money from his 401ks or anything, put that into any real estate or nothing, kind of just always blew it. And that sucks to see. We have a lot of elderly people that are going to be going down that,
Oh,
that
yeah.
route, and then they're relying on Social Security, and for us that might not be there, especially self-employed, because a big thing that I realized is if I'm not paying taxes and paying into Social Security, then when I get to be 66, I'm not going to have that there. or as
That's
much.
right.
That it scares me so much working with the patio home leads. I'm like, it's like, I want to help you, I do, but I can't. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I have, it's hard work to try to get these guys to shift their thinking, especially from, I never even thought that was possible, or that's not even what the route that they were thinking of. And you genuinely want to help them, right? But I know my brother will even sometimes look at me, oh, you just want to sell a house. No, I'm really trying to get you to be a little bit more secure.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
going to
Well, family
because
is hard.
It's the hardest thing with family. Because
is the
we
hardest.
know once you own
It's
a
not
home,
worth it.
it takes the eviction process is longer. There's a lot more safeguards and protections there, and for seniors, I mean, he can do it. There is a Section 8 loan program, and it's just crazy to me that people who are on vouchers, he is on a voucher, and would qualify for something like this, just doesn't even want to entertain the idea.
I know. Yeah. It's
So-
like, here it is. Here's your help.
Horrible.
Here's how you can get it going. You know what I mean?
But it's because the whole thing, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
right.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
It's already been one way for so long.
Yes.
They have
You
that
know.
mindset.
Yeah,
That's
and,
right.
and a lot of our culture right now, we have generations of people that are coming up where their parents weren't homeowners. They were
Right.
born into renting.
Right,
Renting
yeah.
is the norm.
Yeah.
And they don't understand or see the value in home ownership.
That's what I was
It's
saying.
only
like,
for the
with-
privileged.
That's what you were saying. Like, oh, it's just a couple. Oh, I'm just, sometimes I'm late. In my mind, I'm like, I'm dying. Like I'm like, I couldn't imagine right now. Like my mind is like so anxiety ridden. If I missed a mortgage payment, I'd be like, something is wrong. We are wrong right now. This is
Yeah.
not okay. But it's just like the casualness. Oh yeah, a couple months late. Sometimes I'm always good.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
There's a
exactly.
couple mechanic liens on there. I'm not gonna pay them. It's like, whoa, dude,
Yeah,
what are
right,
you
yeah.
talking about?
I couldn't sleep at night. I'd be
Right, I'd
dying.
be freaking out. I'd be like, this guy gonna take me to court?
I'd have to go on
If I go-
depression medication.
Oh my god.
Everybody's
Like, there's a payment.
different, I guess.
So we
or
pull my
don't.
credit. They're like, your credit score is like 830.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like, and they're like, how in the world do you do that? I'm like,
Pay my bills.
you take out credit and you pay everything on time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's the same thing. It's like their credit score,
Pay it off
it's
early,
like
pay
probably in the
everything on
fives or
time,
something,
and-
It's like, oh my god,
and
how
use
is
it.
that? How, I just don't understand. I don't,
It's just priorities. When when you break it down, I've sit down with a lot of my buyers. I have handfuls of buyers that are waiting to be on the threshold and
Right.
become mortgage ready, and every single time it comes down to their commitments.
Every single time.
Every single time, because
That's why I had to quit working with
Yeah.
them, because I used to do lease options. Back
For
in
your
the
properties?
day. Yeah, back in the day where you'd have like a property and you go, hey, you lease this from me and you get your credit, fixed, and then you can buy it from me for this price.
You're helping
right?
build their credit.
Right, and
Yeah.
you pay this amount, and I'll apply that towards your purchase, right?
The goodwill is there,
The goodwill was there, but every single one of them ended up.
abusing
No,
it.
they couldn't get their credit up. They just
Oh.
couldn't.
most people
They
never
They
fully
never
do a rent
care
to
about
own.
their credit, even though I'm giving them like, this is your house.
It's
You're
an
putting
out,
this
yeah,
amount down.
right.
I'm going to apply this towards you. We got 5 years or whatever. Well, most of them end up in litigation because they feel like I'm scamming them somehow.
Oh.
And I didn't scam them. They just couldn't get their credit up. The option disappears after 5 years.
Yeah.
Right? You're giving them, it's a rent to own.
I see.
Right? You're going to lease this, you're going to rent this to own this.
That's
you
how
have
that
5 years. We're going to do all this strategy to
Right.
get you there.
And in 5 years,
And,
you
and
couldn't
it doesn't
do
happen.
it.
And
Yeah.
then you're the bad guy for
Because-
giving them that opportunity.
Well, because they just
And
lost all that.
They
what-
lost their option after 5 years.
And usually those
And
things.
it's so brutal. So I quit doing them because I hate going to court, number one. I hate when they want to go to the commission and try
And
to
they're
say I'm a
pissed.
scammer. They're all mad.
And then time goes by and they forget, I'm sure, after a few years, they're like, oh yeah, I own this house. I'm doing a rent to own.
They
And
believe
then-
it's their house
Yeah,
and I'm taking
already.
it back from them,
Yeah.
but they cannot purchase
They don't
it
understand.
after that 5 years.
Yeah.
They could not, their credit still sucks. They still have not done a single thing to get their credit up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a mindset. So I had to quit working with those people because it was so cumbersome on me.
I bet.
You know, and
Yeah.
trying to serve them and trying to help them, and all I got was flack about how evil I was.
Sure.
And so,
Well, they don't want to help themselves.
They didn't want to help themselves.
Yeah. I mean,
I have one other question for Charles, real quick. Charles, how many? If I wanted to start doing the the open houses every week, how many signs do I need to purchase to get good traffic?
Like 20.
20?
You would
That's
lay out
it?
20 signs?
Yeah.
You would lay out 20 signs.
I was thinking like 40.
On what? A trailer? Would you bring on a trailer?
Yeah, they like.
No, little signs. Not
Scotty
the
and
big
I used to do
signs.
Little
30
they're,
signs.
they're,
Oh.
they're this big.
Oh, I thought you were talking about these ones that were back here.
No. They're just the ones. I'm actually the sign place that I usually order them from. I ordered what I thought were the same signs, and they changed them, and now they're too small. But I also so I'm looking for new signs, but I just use the generic ones.
This says open house with an arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so I don't put like a lot of people put like the address and then the date and time on every single directional sign, which is an absolute pain.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Yeah. So I would just go and it's almost like a net. Like I like to think about as a net. So like if I can find a house that's near like a main road, and you have to be careful like along 115.
They take 'em.
Sometimes the government will come out and take them, so I
know.
wait until after 5 p.m. on Friday to put them out.
Yeah.
Or they'll complain about it. But you're allowed to put out ghost signs.
Bandit signs.
Yeah, ghost signs between, was it 12 p.m. on Friday and 12 p.m. on Monday. But there's some stupid ordinance about you can't put any signs on highways because it makes it look
I've
ugly or
lost
whatever.
signs on highways.
Yeah.
It pisses me
Did
off.
you hear? I guess we can't put signs in the median either. Like
Technically,
that's
yeah.
a city ordinance or something.
Yeah.
Because there was some old man that knew you. I was doing one down on Platte, and it was at the corner of Platte and Wasatch, right? There's businesses, nowhere, no grass on either side to stick a sign in. So I put one in the median, and it was one of the, like, I'd done one open house, put my own just little sign like you have there. Went back to pick them up, it was gone.
Yeah.
Then a month later, I did another open house. Put a big Acquire one there. He shows up at the open house bitching me out. Like, I know Rob Reinmuth, you work for Acquire Homes. You ought to know better. We got a city ordinance. You can't put those signs in the
Wonder who
middle of
that
the.
was.
And I was
I
like,
have no
I
idea.
bet he stole my last one. He just wasn't gonna steal this
The
one
big
because it was a
one.
big, nice
Yeah,
Acquire
that's
one, and he
right.
knows you.
That's crazy.
I was like, this is wild. Yeah.
I knew that
I should do
was.
those little signs because those big signs over there, they suck
I
sometimes.
zip tie those little ones too. They're just temporary.
What Scotty and I used to do is we'd take those big ones and we put them on the big, the big traffic areas, and then we would use the small ones like you, and we'd have 20 of them. So we'd have 30 total, the 10 big ones, and then 20 of those little ones. And those little ones we just have like as directionals going to the house.
Oh, I think it's awesome.
Stuff like that.
You put 5 in a row.
And that brought us the most traffic out of any open house I've ever done. Like we had one day where we had 25 people in there. Yeah.
If
How
it's
many
my
really
job,
come from the signs though? I
Do you
mean,
guys
all
ask?
of them, he said.
I don't know.
About
Like, do
half
you
the
ask?
traffic.
I would
so
say
that you
probably
know?
half.
Like,
Yeah.
The other half saw it on Zillow,
Yeah.
saw it on wherever.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
if they see it on the internet, they probably have a realtor.
Yeah.
But a good 50% of the traffic comes from the signs. And like I know, like some agents, the one who I learned how to do them from, he did like literally 40 signs on one road, which is just obnoxious. But I'll do like if it's like a major intersection, I'll do about 4 on one direction, 4 on the other direction.
Yeah.
And then just have signs going up. But it's just kind of like a net. Or if I can hit 2 different intersections, I'll do that.
But you said your best clients have come from where they didn't have the realtor, they were just drive-bys.
Yeah.
See, so like you said, only half of them come. That's the ones you want. You want the
I don't know. I
signs.
think you want
It'd
all
almost
of
be
them.
better if you didn't put the open house on the MLS and Zillow, because then you wouldn't get those people
No,
that
no. You
are-
want those
already have an
people.
agent.
Well, you never know if
Especially if
those
it's
guys
your
are kicking
listing.
tires
Right,
too.
you never know.
It'd be a small
I
percentage.
think
So if you didn't put it on, you'd get
So-
just
sometimes-
traffic, just
Yeah.
street traffic.
Like
Yeah.
like Sonny and Blake, they actually saw it on the internet, and that's what brought them over there.
Yeah, but that's what I
So-
mean. Like,
Do you
seems
do
like
a certain
Platt, that's
price
a
point?
crazy busy street. I put a lot of
so I
signs
don't
out,
do
but
like
I
anything
think the last
like-
one I did,
Million
five out
or
of 6
750. I
people
don't do
that came to
those.
see
Oh,
I
yeah.
hit like
found it on
the
Zillow.
busiest
sorry.
open
Sorry.
house
Saw
I
the
ever
open
did.
house ad on
Have a
Was
good
Zillow.
over
one,
in
everybody.
Broadmoor.
See,
Okay,
So-
see you later.
And
Only one, which was a neighbor,
about-
came through
in
because he
those
saw
2
the
days
sign
and
and
those
was
6
just
hours, I
curious.
had about 50 people.
Everybody else.
To hit
Single
miss
person
on
up.
open houses, they're
So
so
what happens
difficult.
is if it's too busy,
So I
you
was
can't
like- I was
connect
kinda
with anybody.
like-
There's just people
Because you know
walking in
sometimes
and
I would
walking
like
out.
make an
So I don't
event on
want, like, a
Facebook
lot
and
of
even
people,
pay to like
like-
boost
like,
the event and whatever. And I was
you-
like, I'm
you
not
can have,
doing
like,
that
50
anymore.
people
Not
and, like,
not
have
if
them
all
all
my
sign
traffic
in.
is coming from
But you're never
Zillow.
gonna, you're never
Like,
Right,
gonna
yeah.
plug it,
unless
put
you
it in the
have, like, a good,
MLS
like,
and call
10
it
minutes
good.
or so
Save
talk
money.
to
to talk to them.
Yeah.